Hey guys, and welcome to the Geeks and Greeks podcast. The podcast focuses mostly on the NFL, but we also do talk about other sports such as the NBA and MLB, as well as video games and what else is going on in our lives. Step into the conversation of three friends who love sports and who love doing this. You can find us on YouTube, as well as Spotify, Amazon, and Apple podcast platforms, and we're also on Facebook, all with the same moniker, Geeks and Greeks. Thanks for stopping by. We hope you guys enjoy the show. I mean, this just needs to be the intro at all times.
It does.
I mean, who's got something better than just people clapping for him whenever the show starts that's not canned?
It's our thousands of enduring fans. It's a live recording. You didn't know?
Oh, yeah. You know, complete from 3 different rooms. All right. How's your week been going, gentlemen?
Oh, not bad. What about you?
It's been busy, but just because I'm getting towards the end of my class, so I'm kind of starting to come up on stuff, and I've been bad about keeping up on my schoolwork. So, the last couple of nights I've been up to midnight at least working on homework and stuff for last week. So,
that sucks.
Yeah, so it's one of those things I just need to do a better job of keeping up on what I've been doing.
Yeah.
So, you know how college goes. You wait till the last second then to just get that drop-dead panic and just shoots right at you.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
How you been this week, Tom?
Just putting out fires, juggling problems, trying to keep everything from hitting the floor.
Sounds like the life, man.
The messed up people, they see that shit coming and they step to the side of the fan.
You step to the side of the fan.
See? You're all dirty now, aren't you? All right. What a week we had.
Oh, yeah, we did. Well, let's start off by hitting QB Survivor.
Alrighty.
This week, Justin Love and Geno Smith got golden immunity. In other words, they're on the bye this week, so we can't vote them off.
Yeah, that totally screwed me up because we had that 1 week in the middle of the season with no buys. And then I'm looking for them, and I'm like, it can't be. We're done all the buys, aren't we? I'm scouring the sheets of where's the Seattle Green Bay game? It had to have happened.
Jordan Love was already taken out, so Geno's the only one that was on the bye that was left in the.
Jordan Love was taken out?
When was Jordan Love taken out?
I thought he wasn't he? Or am I imagining things?
No.
Yeah, not on my side.
Okay.
We'll be eliminating person number 11 today, so we will have officially 10 guys left on Quarterback Island.
That is correct.
So maybe we should read out the list of names once we vote a guy off so we can...
Sure thing.
Praise the top 10.
All right,
I'm cool
Adam.
with something like that.
Adam,
why don't you...
Oh, sorry.
All right, I'll go ahead and go first. So... my immunity for this week is going to be... I don't know. I was torn. I had a couple guys I'm looking at, and I was really debating about putting C.J. Stroud up to save him again, because while he didn't have a great game this week, I don't think they lost because of him either, honestly. But I'm actually going to save Jaden Daniels this week.
Oh, okay.
Because I think he had a little bit of a worse game than C.J. Stroud did.
Yeah.
He had just 200 yards for 50% completion rating. No touchdowns, no interceptions, but he had a 36.2 QBR I think that's also kind of a misleading one too, because like while he didn't have any touchdowns, all their touchdowns basically came from within 5 yards out, just running the ball at the goal line. So it's like you're not really gonna throw the ball at that point. I mean, especially with the rookie quarterback, just give it to your running backs and let your offensive line, show why they get paid what they get paid.
Yeah.
So I think he still had a good week. They lost, but they lost like by inches. I mean, it was a really good game between them and Pittsburgh, and I'm gonna save him this week and keep him around and be guaranteed for a top 10 spot.
All right, Pete, who are you giving immunity to?
I'm gonna give mine to Jared Goff. I was torn between making him my main elimination or making him my main immunity. To be honest with you, 5 interceptions in one game. I mean, that is Mark Sanchez level of failure. I cannot believe they won. They won this game. He threw 5 interceptions and they won. And I got to give him props for that. He didn't fall apart. I mean, he fell apart, but it didn't stop them from winning, and they were able to bounce back from this colossal failure and win the game in the end, which is just stunning. And he's had low reps, or low numbers, rather, in his receptions. But for the most part, I don't think he's been on the chopping block yet. So I think it's too early to put him up, and he gets a guaranteed top 10 spot.
Well, this puts me in quite a conundrum. I guess I gotta give my immunity to Matt Stafford.
All right.
His completion percentage was better than most, but the 0 touchdowns, 1 interception, and we're down to 9 guys that are available this week.
Yep.
So I gave him immunity because, those aren't great numbers, but I got 3 guys that are worse.
Yep.
You just didn't want to save CJ Stroud, did you?
Well, don't get ahead of me here. All right.
Honestly, I figured if I didn't save him, then he was going to get put up on the elimination block.
Who are you putting on the chopping block, Adam?
So, Goff was one of my picks for the chopping block.
Yeah.
He was my
Ironically
number
enough,
1.
He was actually my 3rd pick, so he wasn't even top 2. And we haven't said my top 2 yet, so I have a pick between the 2 of them.
Oh, no.
Both of them didn't have bad weeks, but I think I'm going to go with my elimination pick for this week being Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, devil you.
You have been itching to put him on the chopping block every week, it feels.
Not really. I think...
It's been a couple weeks since you wanted to, but for a while it felt like every week.
I think I had one where I was where I had put him on before, but like this is one of those where even though he had for his standards, he had a bad game. 226 yards on 67% completion with only 1 touchdown
and no interceptions.
61.6 QBR. Right, but at the same time, they won by a blocked field goal at the last second. Like
that's true.
Against a team that wasn't supposed to win more than 6 games this year, was like the most they were projected for. And I mean, this game shouldn't have been this close. And I just think that it's just, I don't know, it's one of those where they're not winning because of him, but they're also not, they haven't lost yet, but they're not losing in spite of him either. It's like he's just kind of existing in like purgatory this year. He's just kind of there. Like it feels like some of the Tom Brady years where like, while he may not be putting up, MVP type numbers, he does enough in the game to get him the win. by making those one or two random plays. That it's like, how do you make those one or two plays?
The thing that frustrates me is, like, you know how they say, like, you can't just show up and expect to win because you're the Eagles. Like, they literally just show up and expect to win because they're Kansas City, and they win. It's so annoying.
I was about to argue Adam's point, but I think we should get our other guys on the chopping block before I started on my rant.
Fair enough.
Who are you putting on the chopping block?
So, funny enough, you guys both eliminated my number 3 and number 2 pick. So my number 1 is the only one who's left. And that was CJ Stroud.
Yep.
So, I mean, he lost the game against the guy who threw 5 interceptions. That alone should be enough to put him on the chopping block. But, you know, 232 yards, 1 TD, 2 interceptions. It's just not good numbers. He's been in the dirt before. I mean, it's not the worst. He's not having the worst season, but he's not having his best season ever or whatever. So
I can't believe there were 7 interceptions in that game.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wonder if that's an NFL record, because that seems like it might be an NFL record.
Ooh. I lost it.
I mean, it's possible.
I feel like they probably would have said something if it was on. I don't remember it on the broadcast.
8.
Marty.
Damn.
Back in
so close.
All right.
Back in the 50s when they didn't even throw.
Yeah. Probably the only 8 passes in the game.
I've been backed into a corner and I don't like it.
Oh.
I have to put on my number 5 on the chopping block. I'm sorry, Josh Allen. You're sub 60, 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, and this is a short list.
Yeah. You know what's funny is Josh Allen was my second pick for immunity.
Yeah, you gave immunity to my number 1. I was ready to chop Jared Goff out by the knees. Oh, and all right, to Mahomes. What are you thinking?
I expect more.
You're comparing him to Tom Brady. I think my argument ends there.
Says the man that hates Tom Brady.
I do, but I also respect the greatness.
I mean, listen,
When?
Tom Brady is only the greatest of all time because Patrick Mahomes' career's not over yet. Like, let's be honest.
I mean, yeah, that's probably going to be accurate. I just think that against a Denver team that doesn't have that great of a defense, winning by a field goal block in the last second doesn't cut it.
You know, I actually don't disagree with you. Like, it's a good point. It's a trap game that they managed to win, and I'll give them that. But it feels like they've had like 4 of those in their 9 wins so far, and that's not a good thing.
Like, this feels like that. Like, this feels almost like one of those college football games where, like, say you have Ohio State, Michigan coming up, but like the week before they play like a Division II school, and they just barely beat that Division II school because they're too busy looking forward to
Right.
the big game. Like, I feel like that's kind of been the Chiefs this entire season.
Right, because they're looking towards the Super Bowl instead of any of their opponents in the way of getting there, but somehow managed to win every game. It's bizarre.
Does that mean that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is the greatest quarterback head coach duo in the NFL because they just basically come home from the bar, show up to the stadium, and win a game, and then go back smoking a cigarette together? Like,
I mean, I honestly,
I love the visual, yeah, that's great.
I love the visual too, knowing the two of them, like,
right?
drunk ass Andy Reid with a cigar hanging out of his mouth, going Bondarooski.
He's still got some like hamburger juice and like ketchup and mustard on his mustache. He's finished eating a burger on a car ride over from. It's just one of those things, man. It's weird. Like, I was listening to Bomani Jones's podcast this week, and he said he's phrased it the best way. This is the least impressive 9-0 team ever in the NFL.
Yeah, although to be fair, that's what they said about the Eagles. But this is what they said about the Eagles last year. And I mean, they did have a historic collapse, yes.
Right.
But they did say that last year.
But at least we were talking about the Eagles last year, and not just like but it wasn't one of those where it's like the Chiefs won again somehow. It wasn't like the Eagles, they won somehow. Like they were actually, blowing people out, and like they looked like the best team in the NFL. The Chiefs don't look like the best team in the NFL, and that's weird to say for a team that's undefeated.
Right. It's weird.
So,
I mean, I still think they're going to win the Super Bowl now.
I still think they might go to the Super Bowl. I don't know if they're going to win, but they'll probably go.
Get beat by the Giants. It'd be hilarious. They're not mathematically eliminated. They can go on a run.
All right, so I'm going to vote for C.J. Stroud, and I'll tell you why. Because he had less attempts than Mahomes, lower completion than Mahomes, less yards than Mahomes, and 2 more interceptions than Mahomes.
So basically every stat?
Yeah, about every stat. He's worse than Mahomes.
There you go.
Seems like a fair comparison there. Bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how that plays out for you.
Aw.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
I love that you had it queued up. Oh, shit.
Great. Oh, man. All right. So let's see. We had Mahomes. We had Stroud. Who was the other pick?
Josh Allen.
Josh Allen. You know what? It's one of those things where, you know what? I think I'll pull the trigger. I'm also going to vote for CJ Stroud on this. Like I said, he didn't have a good week. I've already saved him, I think, twice already. So
yeah.
I really can't justify saving him again. He's definitely having a sophomore slump this season.
Yeah.
Which is to be kind of expected. It's rare that guys come in and have as good of a rookie season as he did and not have some sort of a regression the next year. So yeah, I'm probably going to pick C.J. Stroud, but I will say that was probably the best game of the week, and also those new red jerseys they have are amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's funny that we're talking about how he's having a sophomore slump when he's the head of the division at 6-4, but it really does feel that he's like having a sophomore slump, just a tiny bit of one, not a huge one, but like enough to irk him out of the top 10. I think I agree. I would vote Josh Allen just because I can't see myself voting for his Lord and Master himself, Patrick Mahomes. Although I don't actually see Patrick Mahomes making it to the end. I don't think he's having the best of years.
No. He's getting a little too comfortable, and he's going to start making big mistakes.
I think so too. And it's going to be the second biggest collapse in the history of the NFL. And we won't be the only ones that did it.
But with that, CJ Stroud, you are eliminated.
Bye, Felicia.
Now, with that, there are 10 remaining. We have Josh Allen, Jaden Daniels, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jordan Love, Jared Goff, Patrick Mahomes, Justin Herbert, Matthew Stafford, and Geno Smith. How did Geno Smith make it this far?
Luck.
How did Jaden Daniels make it this far?
Yeah.
Really hasn't even been talked about as far as being eliminated. Like, this was, like, really his worst week of the year.
Yeah.
Like, I was actually going to say, once you finish reading the list, is there any that really stood out as being surprising in the top 10? But it's Geno Smith and Jaden Daniels.
It's funny because, like, there's a bunch of guys up there we've barely even mentioned. Like, from week to week, we don't even talk about them. But, like, Lamar Jackson's having the best season any quarterback's had in a while, I think. And we never talk about him from week to week because he's so good. None of us are ever going to eliminate him. And it's just like, yep, Lamar Jackson had another stellar night. Like, I think he's going to win.
If he wins MVP this year, that's 3 already.
Mm-hmm.
And
it's crazy.
Dude's not even 28, I don't think.
Jesus, what am I doing with my life?
I mean, Lamar Jackson's just playing amazingly this year. He's playing better this year than his other 2 MVP seasons.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and
I would
also,
love to see Baltimore in the Super Bowl with him. Like, honestly, Baltimore and Detroit would be just an amazing Super Bowl.
It would be.
But I still want my 3-peat, damn it.
I don't know if a 3-peat's possible, man. We're going to find out.
We're going to find out. But with CJ Stroud out, that also eliminates the last AFC South team in our Survivor Island. In fact, that is both South divisions out the door.
Get out of here, South. You're not wanted.
To be kind of fair, though, like 3 of the 4 were eliminated before the season started.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So it's not as if he had a whole lot of competition.
Now, just a reminder, next week is our last week for granting immunity. After that, it is just straight to the elimination.
Alrighty. It's getting chippy out there.
It is. And, it's funny, we're talking about Lamar Jackson. So, here's his season stats so far for the year, through 10 weeks. He's thrown for 2,669 yards, with a 69% completion percentage,
Jesus.
24 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and a
24 to
123
2.
quarterback rating.
24-2. That's insane. That's like Nick Foles, other than like the Philly special and winning the Super Bowl, like his next big claim to fame was the year he had 27 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Like, Lamar Jackson's right there in, like, the thing Philly used to talk about the most about Nick Foles until he won us a Super Bowl. Like, that's crazy.
And then, too, also, I mean, that's just passing yards. He's also got, 538 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns. So it's like, I mean, the dude's put up almost 3,100 all-purpose yards and 26 touchdowns. That's
insane. And we're only halfway through the season. I mean, it's week 10, but still pretty much halfway through the season with an 18-week season nowadays.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I didn't realize he was doing that well. 24-2 touchdown to interception ratio.
That's crazy.
Insane.
Yeah. Talk about Tom Brady numbers, though. I mean, that guy never threw picks either.
No. I mean, after season like 2 or 3, Peyton didn't either. It just took him those first couple of years to kind of get used to the NFL. Like, I remember that, at least his rookie season, he looked terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
he was awful.
I remember there was, like, after that rookie season, there was, like, legit questions whether or not he was a bust.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Could you imagine if they had sold on him real early and they're like, get rid of him. He's a bust.
They brought back Jeff George.
That's not even funny. Don't you even talk like that.
I don't even know if he was still playing at that point.
No, I think he washed out. I think he went to like 2 more teams after the Colts, and then that was it. But anyways, winners and losers, the Week 10 recap. Adam chose New England to win over Chicago. They sure did, 19-3.
Yeah.
Pete picked...
What happened, Chicago? Jeez.
I don't want to talk about it.
It was great. Questioning me picking New England over Chicago.
Pete chose Buffalo to win over Indianapolis. It hurt, but yeah, they did. 30-20. I chose the complete opposite of Adam for Chicago to win over New England because, 4-4 against 2-7. Why not? Well, I'll tell you why not. 19-3.
With 8 sacks on Caleb Williams.
Are you serious with that? 19-3? The clash of the mediocre teams ends in 19-3. All right.
It was great to watch.
All right, losers. Adam chose Denver to lose to Kansas City. Yeah. 16
Barely.
14, just barely.
Yeah. As barely as you can possibly barely.
A 35-yard field goal blocked in the closing seconds. And boy, was that Broncos broadcaster livid.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, man. Pete chose the Chargers to lose to Tennessee. Nope. Chargers won against Tennessee 27-17.
Yeah. That was a mistake.
And I chose New Orleans to lose to Atlanta because, that seems like a safe bet. A 2-7 team should lose against a 6-3 team unless it's Atlanta, who lost 20-17.
Oh, jeez.
Last week, I was really struggling between Jacksonville and New Orleans, and I chose New Orleans, and I chose wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, man. After week 10, Adam increases his lead to 13, and my pair of goose eggs puts me back with Pete tied at 11.
You
Welcome
are one
to the
pathetic
basement.
loser.
Wait, why is that the sound clip you play for being even with me, buddy?
It was more that I got 2 goose eggs.
I know, I'm just kidding.
Things that should have been pretty easy to call.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, that
To be
New
fair.
England Chicago game. Damn it! That New England Chicago game really was a coin toss. Chicago has not been playing well as of late. New England's starting to play better.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with Chicago. I thought they would be better this season.
Everybody did.
Yeah.
Like, everybody was saying that they were going to be a playoff team, and it's like, I'm sorry, I don't see it, man. Like, you didn't bolster your offensive line. You didn't. I mean, they brought in DeAndre Swift, but he's taken a massive step backwards. The receivers have all given up on Caleb Williams.
Yeah.
And I honestly, it looks like the offense is just done. They don't. It looks like they're completely out on Caleb Williams, 100%.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to
right.
see where it goes from here.
All right, moving on to Week 11 predictions. Now, before we start, I am going to call it. We are going to have at least one crossover, if not 2 or 3.
Okay.
I'm predicting it. It's gonna happen.
All
I
right.
almost want to go last so I can make sure I don't cross over with anybody.
All right, Adam, who do you got winning?
You get to go first.
All right. It's funny. I realized I haven't taken this team yet, and I'm kind of surprised I hadn't, but I'm also happy because of the matchup they have this week. So this week, I am picking the Detroit Lions to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Called it.
There you
Called
go.
it.
I didn't know I didn't have them still. I hadn't picked them. I thought I had already picked them this year, but apparently not. So I'll take that easy matchup. And then my second one, this one I think is honestly more of a toss-up. That's not, honestly, if it's not a toss-up, it's going against me because actually the team I picked to lose is favorited to win, but
Ooh.
only by 4. So it's a 4-point spread. I'm picking the New York Jets to lose to the Indianapolis Colts this week.
Okay. I mean, I think that's a fair bet.
So I will say Detroit-Jacksonville is the largest margin of victory predicted this week. Detroit's a negative 13.5 favorite over the Jaguars.
Did you hear Aaron Rodgers' depressed boy press conference?
No.
Where he's just like, guys, we're not mathematically eliminated. And even if we are, I mean, there's still one more thing to play for, and that's honor. Honor, We want to have respect to the people out there. Respect to your receivers, respect to your coach. You play for them. It's okay. It's okay. It's like he's talking to the press like this. It's like, oh, It's the start of Sad Boy Autumn. Holy crap.
This is like your daily affirmation in the shower just got misplaced to the press room.
You said the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, right.
Oh, crap.
And now we know why Marshawn Lynch never talked.
I wish he would have, man. I found a documentary that they were doing with Marshawn Lynch on HBO. Oh my god, that dude's hilarious.
Oh yeah, everything
Marshawn
I've seen of
Lynch.
him, he's hilarious. Yeah.
It's so good. If you have HBO Max, you should look it up. It's pretty cool.
Nice.
All right. Pete, who do you have winning next week?
All right, so I picked for the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Tennessee Titans next week.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Now, this one was kind of tough, but go ahead, Pete. Who do you got losing?
All right. So for losers, I actually have the Las Vegas Raiders losing to Miami. I think with Tua back, Miami's going to be probably a contender now, which, I mean, says something about his ability, but like that hit he took to the side of his helmet in the game was just yet another example of why this man shouldn't be playing. I wince every time I see someone hit him. I don't know. I feel like I'm almost watching to see if he dies on the field. Like, it's kind of nuts.
Well, I guessed both of your wins, and I missed both of your losses. I had Adam taking the Jaguars to lose or the Bears to lose, and I had Pete taking either the Bears to lose or the Cowboys to lose. But I still got my two crossovers because I crossed over with both of you.
There you go.
My win for next week, I'm taking Minnesota to win over Tennessee.
There you go.
7-2 versus 2-7. It's perfect.
Fair bet.
Right? Perfect. Someone say it, please.
Yeah. I picked it too, man. Gotcha.
And my other crossover is the loss, but I didn't cross over with one of your losing teams. I picked Jacksonville to lose to Detroit.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, that's pretty fair. As of right now, I think Jacksonville is the worst team in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
They're tied right now with the Giants. They're both 2-8.
Ah.
You know, I'm going to have to say that I think the Giants are worse than Jacksonville, having seen both of them play a lot, because I watch a lot of the Giants. And
I'm sorry.
I always watch the East, man. If they're not playing at the same time as the Eagles, that's the game I'm watching. So you got to know your enemy, you know what I mean?
Is this really an enemy, though?
Honestly, feels like padding your stats when you're playing the Giants right now.
I have to admit, I almost picked Dallas to lose to Houston because I think the Cowboys are on a downward spiral, and I'm pretty sure it's because Tom Landry has cursed the Cowboys.
Yeah. What is
we're gonna
this?
Talk about that. I don't know what the Tom Landry curse is because they've won since he's been fired.
Oh, here, let me tell you a story. Now, Tom Landry, World War II veteran, he retired from the military as a second lieutenant, and then he started coaching Dallas, won 2 Super Bowls, and got into the Hall of Fame in 1990. Needless to say, he's a pretty important guy in Dallas and to football fans as a whole. Well, on Sunday, during the first quarter of their game against the Eagles, the Cowboys decided to pay tribute to Tom Laundry.
Yeah, that sounds like something they do.
Oh, shit.
Now, I'm not saying that was the start of the curse, but the immediate next play was a fumble by
Cooper Rush.
That was picked up by the Eagles, and 4 plays later was an Eagles touchdown. And the game finally ended 34-6. And right after the game, it was announced that Dak Prescott was most likely going to need season-ending surgery. I think we're seeing the beginnings of the next Billy Goat curse. Let's do this.
That's crazy.
You know, it wouldn't surprise me. Like, this is one of those... I don't know. Like, so being a Cowboys fan is weird because, you know, when most teams are bad, everyone assumes that the owners just don't care and the GMs don't care and they're just there to collect their money and go home. With Dallas, we know Jerry Jones cares. Like, you can see it. You know he cares about his team and wants to win. But the weird part is that he never makes winning moves. Like, he just lets stuff sit and doesn't make moves. And I think he trusts his team and his organization too much. And while you don't want to be one of those teams like the Browns that, you know, has a new head coach every year and a half to 2 years, at the same time, there's some things that writings are just on the wall, and you need to change things. Like, you can't just keep the same roster. Like, when they lost Tony Pollard this offseason, the free agency, and didn't bring in a running back, it's like, dude, you're banking on your third-string running back from last year to carry your run game? I mean, it's no wonder they have the worst rushing offense in the league this year. You've also got an aging offensive line. Tyron Smith's already out. Zach Martin is either, I think, going to retire at the end of the season or, you know, he's going to be regressing soon because he's like 35 at this point. And I know guys are playing longer now than they used to, but at the same time, performance dips at age, man. Father time is undefeated. It's going to happen. So it's like they're getting new players, but the problem is they rely, I feel, too much on internal development than going and getting players. And it's like you don't have to get, you know, the top tier free agents every year, but you got to get somebody. Like this year especially, when you didn't have a running back and you had like 4 top tier running backs on the market and you didn't get one of them, and you had the cap space too. That's the thing. You had cap space. You could have easily made the cap space to go get any of those guys. Like, I mean, you could have thrown something at, you know, Derrick Henry. You could have tried to bring Pollard back. You could have gone and got Josh Jacobs. You could have gotten Adam Jones. You could have gotten Saquon. Like, I mean, I know Saquon was traded. I think he was traded for it. It wasn't signed, but he was traded. But still, the Eagles didn't give up shit to get Saquon.
Yeah.
You see what he's giving you.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll give you shit. I would have given him probably like, you know, a second and third round pick and maybe even thrown in a first. I don't care. This is Saquon Barkley, man. You have a running back in his prime that's the second best running back in the league, only behind Derrick Henry. And really, it's one of the things you could even make an argument he might be better because he brings more to your passing game than Derrick Henry does.
Yeah, it's like he took the whole devaluing of the running back position too far. Like, almost, it's kind of honestly reminiscent of Chip Kelly. When Chip Kelly just started firing people from the team and just replacing them with their backups and practice squad people. And it was like, you know, we had 2 Pro Bowl level guards and he just let them walk and replaced them with, you know, 3rd round draft picks. And it was just like, what are you doing? The team just fell apart because of it. And it's like, that was one of the biggest problems with Chip Kelly was he was like, my system will work no matter who's in the position. So the people don't matter. And it's like, guess what? The people do matter. The people are the team. And it's like, Jerry used to seem to just throw a whole bunch of money at it, get a lot of personality, a lot of people who can win, get them all in the same room. You know, you had Tank Johnson and Terrell Owens on the same team, you know, and You had Pac-Man Jones on that team for a while. You know, like
You had Roy Williams. You had Gary Woodson in there.
yeah, he used to get names and pay them exorbitant amounts of money, and now he seems to have gone the other way, where he's just like, no, the system will work no matter who's in the slot. And it's like, this is why you don't wait until the end of the season to sign your big name players. Like, you had to sign CeeDee Lamb to a much higher contract than you would have if you just signed it to him at the beginning of the offseason. Like, you promised him you would in the first place. And that's what you told him back in his rookie year when you would have the conversation. Like, it's so frustrating.
Yeah, I do think that they do draft well. Like, they have drafted good players, but like some of them, the issues they've had is that some of their guys have just retired early because of injuries. Like when they drafted Leighton Vander Esch, he was a really good linebacker. He was a really good middle linebacker.
I remember,
but he just got hurt so much he retired young.
Yeah.
Same with Sean Lee. Like Sean Lee was a great middle linebacker. He just kept getting hurt and retired at like 30, 29. Like you have these guys that they're really good players, but they keep retiring early because they keep getting hurt. And I don't blame them at all. I mean, you got to live through that the rest of your life. Like, take care of your body and yourself. It sucks. And then the guys they do sign are third-string guys. They don't replace them with starter or even half the time backup-level quality players.
Yeah.
And it's like, it does kind of feel like that. And, I mean, there have been a lot of rumblings. They're starting to get a lot of rumbles now about Mike McCarthy not being the coach next year because this is the last year of his contract.
Right.
So his contract's up at the end of this year, but like, I don't know who they go get. I don't know what other coaches are. This is the last year of coach. Who's going to be available? The one that I heard that I don't know how I feel about it was Rex Ryan was talking about it on ESPN. He thinks that Dallas needs to go and sign Deion Sanders as their next head coach after this season and bring primetime back to Dallas.
I mean, if they were going to do that, then they need to do free agency because you bring primetime back and you're going to have guys that are going to be chomping at the bit to work with them.
Especially secondary.
Yeah. And you're going to have to go out and grab people in free agency because you'll be able to win right away,
Yeah. And, like, it's one of those things where, I mean, right now, I think right now they have a top 10 draft pick. As it sits right now in the way the standings are going, they'd have pick, I think, number 10 at this point. Maybe not, because, man, there's a lot of bad AFC teams out there. But, I mean, there's talks, like, I've read an article that they think that that Dallas needs to sign Deion and then trade up in the draft and then go get Travis Hunter and Shador. And I'm like, don't get Shador Sanders. He's not a very good quarterback. Like, he's not that great of a college quarterback, let alone what an NFL quarterback needs to be. Like, I get why you would say it, and bringing in Deion's son and everything. I don't know. I don't understand the hate for Dak Prescott. Like, he's a really good quarterback. I think he's a top 10 quarterback in this league. This season was a dumpster fire because it was all on him. He had to do everything. Like, there's no run game, so of course his passing numbers are down. There's no threat of a run. So you just drop 7 to 8 almost every time, and you just drop back in the zone or do a two-man zone or man coverage with 2 over the top. Like, there's no threat. And I'm amazed he was able to put up the numbers he did before he got hurt, considering that. So, I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things. It's a weird conundrum knowing that your owner does care but doesn't make the moves to show that he wants to truly win. It's just weird.
All right.
Like, I mean, next year they've got $25 million in cap space, which that's not great. That they're ranked 23rd out of 32 for cap space, so they're at the bottom of cap space available. But I mean, you can also restructure some contracts. You can move some guys around. Because there's some good free agents out there, honestly, for next season that you could bring in to make a difference right away. I mean, you've got some receivers. You've got some good linemen that are still younger and they're like late 20s, early 30s that can make some immediate impact on that line that's starting to get older. You've got a couple running backs that are coming up that might be cheap too, because this is last year Nick Chubb in Cleveland. His contract's up after this season. I know he's just coming off an ACL injury, but that might be something where you can get him cheap and see what happens, like on basically a 1-year prove-it deal.
Mm.
Or he could just be done because he's been ran into the ground so much in Cleveland.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure he doesn't want to go back to Cleveland either.
yeah, probably not. I mean, at the same time, we also see they need a backup quarterback, man. Like, Cooper Rush sucks.
Cooper Rush does suck. Yeah.
I mean, Joe Flacco's only got 1 year in Indy. You can go get Joe Flacco. Bring Joe Flacco in behind Dak Prescott. Justin Fields is also a free agent after this season, too. I'd love to see Justin Fields behind Dak Prescott.
Oh, man.
I am going to say, point it out, I called it. When we did our projected playoff brackets, I didn't even have Dallas making the playoffs, man. I told you.
Yeah, but I'm going to go with that's more of just Dallas hate than actual predictions on that one. Which, I mean, it's fair. I mean, you're not wrong, obviously, but still.
All right, moving on to the next topic. Before we do that, a quick shout out to IU, who has gone 10-0 for the first time in school history in football.
Oh,
Who
there you
knew
go.
IU had a football team? I didn't know.
They haven't until this season.
But that takes us to the NBA season is about 3 weeks in. In the East, you have the Cavaliers at 12-0 and the Celtics at 9-3. They're the leaders, of head and shoulders above everyone else. In the West, it's a little more tight. You got Warriors, Suns, and Thunder at 9-2, Nuggets at 7-3, and Rockets and Grizzlies at 7-4. Now, that being said, I want to talk about two teams that aren't on that list at all. The Pistons versus the Heat last night. This was a nail-biting game all the way into overtime. With 2 seconds left in the game, the Pistons take a shot, tie it up. And the Heat call a timeout to plan what they're going to do with the last 2 seconds of the game. Unfortunately, there were no timeouts left. And they get hit with a technical foul, sending Detroit to the line where they sink number 122 to go ahead. And apparently, because it's a technical foul, Detroit gets to pass it in.
Make it take it, man.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, game ends 121.
Yeah,
123 to 121.
Yeah, because they pass it in, and then immediately the Heat foul them.
Yep.
And we've got 1.1 second left, and they get a foul shot, and so they end up winning by 2.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think this was also the start of the NBA Cup tournament as
Yes.
well. It was one of the first games for that. Yeah. So, for those that don't know, yeah, the Eastern Conference is a lot weaker than the Western Conference in the NBA. And the Eastern Conference has been not great since about 1998 to 99, 2000, since Jordan retired, basically. But yeah, Cleveland's been playing amazingly well this year. Boston's still the favorite for the championship right now. But yeah, after that in the East, it just drops to 6-6 as the next best team. So you got 12-0, 9-3, 6-6. So
Yeah.
East has got some work to do. There's already a lot of injuries this season already. We've already got guys missing time. So yeah, there's some teams that are bad, but half their team's gone. Like New Orleans Pelicans, they have I think 6 or 7 guys. I think it's 6. They have 6 guys that are in their main rotation that are out injured.
Wow.
So, and you can only roster, I think 15 is the max. So you can have a 15-man roster. Most teams only carry 12 guys that dress per game. So half your roster that dresses is injured already.
Jeez.
So
That's
yeah,
crazy.
the Pelicans are not doing great, but that's also a big reason why they're not doing very good right now. So you've got some teams that have just massive injuries they'll be better as the season goes when those guys come back and get back into it. But yeah, that's a weird thing because so the rule in the NBA is if you call a timeout and you don't have any left, it's automatically a technical foul. And the rules for technical fouls, you get one free throw, and then that team gets the ball. Even if they miss it, they still get the ball back.
Oh,
so
wow.
Detroit would have gotten it whether they made that shot or not. And Pete, I know you were asking too, because Detroit Miami made the shot which tied it, and then Detroit was getting ready to inbounds, but they called a timeout. And then you were talking about how they just were basically at the 3
Right.
point
So
line.
So it starts out with the Heat with the ball, and they score with 1.8 1.8 seconds left, and then the Pistons get the ball and they're throwing the ball in, but rather than throwing the ball in under their own net, they're all the way on the other side of the court, lined up with the 3-point line.
So the way it works with the NBA is that in the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, if you call a timeout, you then start on the other side of half court, on your side of
Oh.
So it's a rule in the NBA. It's a rule in the NBA for the last 2 minutes. If you call a timeout, you advance it past half court.
So that explains why the guy was trying to call a timeout. He was trying to move the ball to the other side of the court.
Yep.
Oh, see, that makes so much more sense. See, I just watched a recap of the game. Well, really, just a recap of that situation. I'm not a huge basketball guy, so yeah, that'll confuse me.
Yeah, so that's what that was about. That's the rule for the last 2 minutes, and it's like that with the fourth quarter and overtime. So
Okay.
That's what that was, and yeah, with overtime you get 2 timeouts, and they've already used them.
Yeah.
So, no, that was regulation. That wasn't. I don't think that was overtime. I think that was just regulation.
No, it was in overtime.
Was it in overtime? Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what that was. So I mean, it's just one of those things, and usually their coaches are a lot better about that. I can't remember the last time that I've actually seen that happen in a live NBA game like that before.
Yeah, it was nuts.
Like you could also tell he was just also like the defensive possession his team had was really bad, and they gave up a really easy shot. And you could tell he was pissed.
Oh yeah.
So that's also probably what triggered into that as well. So, but yeah, I mean the East is also. I mean they're all grouped together because I mean the third ranked team is 6-6, and it's like 5-5, 5-5, 5-6, 5-7, 5-7, 4-6, 4-7. Like they're all within like 2 games of each other between 4 and 10. Like they're all just bunched up right now. So you never know what's going to happen. We're in game 10, 12 out of 82. We got a long ways to go.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a long road.
So not nearly as bad though as baseball. I'll take 82 games over 162.
Yeah. I'll stick with 17.
All right. So that brings us to the closing segment of our show, the trivia section. And tonight we have a section called I Lied, like a liar. I'm going to make a statement and list some players. The statement is going to be a lie because one of these players does not apply to the statement.
Okay.
And you got to tell me what player does not belong in this statement.
Okay.
So, Pete, these 5 players were Washington starting quarterbacks. Donovan McNabb, Rex Grossman, Sam Bradford, Carson Wentz, and Mark Sanchez.
Pretty positive it's Sanchezy.
No.
Oh, really?
Sanchez started 1 game in 2018.
Okay.
Adam, do you want to make the steal?
It's Sam Bradford.
Correct.
Damn.
I was split between Bradford and Sanchez. So
Sanchez or Sammy Sleeves.
right. Well, like I knew it was Carson. I knew Carson Wentz because he went there after he left Indy.
Right.
McNabb got traded there from Philly.
Oh my God! And then said he was the place he should have always been. I hated him for that so hard for like a month.
I remember that. That was everyone burning their McNabb jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Adam. These 5 players had more than 15,000 rushing yards in their career. Emmitt Smith, Curtis Martin, Walter Payton, Frank Gore, and Barry Sanders.
I'm actually going to go Barry because I don't think he played long enough.
Incorrect. 15,269. Pete, do you want to steal?
I was going to say Barry Sanders, too. What are the names again?
Emmitt Smith, Curtis Martin, Walter Payton, and Frank Gore.
I feel like Frank Gore played for so long. How could he have not?
Just as attendance, he should have hit that.
Right. But maybe that's the trick question. I don't know. I'm going to go on. It's a trick question, and it's actually Walter Payton.
Walter Payton had 16,726.
It's Curtis Martin, isn't it?
It's Curtis Martin.
The only name I didn't know out of the whole list.
I knew, again, I was torn between Curtis Martin and Barry Sanders. Like I said, I just thought Barry because I thought he didn't play long enough.
That was my thought, too, with Barry.
Pete, these 5 players have more than 280 career starts.
280 career starts. Okay.
Peyton Manning, Jerry Rice, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Brett Favre.
So I know Favre's going to have it. I know Brady's going to have it. I'm not entirely sure Manning's going to have it. I can't imagine Jerry Rice not. Who was the other person?
Drew Brees.
Drew Brees. Did Drew Brees play long enough to get 280? I'm going to go with Brees.
286.
Oh, son of a bitch.
I'm going to go with Peyton Manning.
265.
Damn it!
I'm like, it has. I'm like, I'm sorry. Like, Jerry Rice has to. He played for like 25 years.
Right?
All right. Adam, these 5 players were Giants starting quarterbacks. Eli Manning, Kurt Warner, Matt Castle, Geno Smith, and Colt McCoy.
Ooh. It's Colt McCoy.
Had 2 games in 2020.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Pete,
Okay,
do you want to steal?
Eli Manning,
Kurt Warner,
Matt Castle,
Smith.
and Geno Smith. I believe it's going to be Matt Castle.
Correct.
Ding ding. It was either Castle or Colt.
Pete, these 5 quarterbacks have more than 70,000 passing yards.
Okay.
Peyton Manning, Tom Brady, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger, or Brett Favre.
Ooh. So I'm torn because Roethlisberger, I'm not entirely sure would have hit that mark. And Favre played forever, but like, how many like really good passing yard seasons did he have? I'm gonna go with Roethlisberger.
64,000.
64,000. Hell yeah.
Pardon me.
First try.
Adam, these 5 players have more than 150 career sacks.
Ooh.
Bruce Smith, Reggie White, Michael Strahan, Kevin Green, and Julius Peppers.
All right. I'm pretty sure Reggie White has over 150. I know Michael Strahan does because I'm pretty sure Strahan has the career sacks record. Bruce Smith. Honestly, I'm thinking it's Kevin Green. Who's the other one besides Kevin Green, and who else?
Julius Peppers.
Julius Peppers. Peppers played for a long time, but the last few years weren't great. Kevin Green. I'm going to go with Julius Peppers.
159.
Damn.
Pete, do you want to steal?
Yep, I'm going to go with Kevin Green. Those were the 2 names I was splitting between 2.
160.
Oh, shit.
The answer actually was Michael Strahan.
Michael Strahan?
Really?
Yeah.
I thought he had the career sacks.
No, Bruce Smith does at 200.
What record does he have that people always complain about then?
Oh, I don't know.
That it wasn't actually a sack.
Oh, I think it's either sacks in a season or single sacks in a game.
Oh, okay.
Because I think he sacked like McNabb like 11 times or something like that. I don't remember.
Jeez.
Or maybe it was 11 sacks in one game. They weren't all him. I don't remember what it was. It was rough.
All right, Pete.
Strahan haunted my nightmares until he retired.
All right, Pete. These 5 players were Cowboys starting quarterbacks.
Okay.
Drew Bledsoe, Dan Orlovsky, Kyle Orton, Matt Castle, and Andy Dalton.
Okay. I thought I was going to know this one. I know Andy Dalton has started, and I don't remember the name of the first guy, but I know that I just wrote him off in my book as he's definitely started. Man, my ADHD is killing me today. I can't remember the list of 5 names for 10 seconds.
Do you want me to rattle it off again?
Yeah, one more time, please. Sorry.
Drew Bledsoe, Dan Orlovsky, Kyle Orton, Matt Castle, and Andy Dalton, which you said Andy Dalton is already off your list.
Yeah. Same with Drew Bledsoe. I know he's played. So I'm going to go with Kyle Orton.
Kyle Orton started 1 game in 2013.
Some bitch.
So, yeah, I was going through this too, and I'm pretty sure I know who this is because, yeah, Bledsoe started. I know Dalton started. I knew Orton started, and I'm 99% certain that Castle started a game for us too. I'm going to go with Dan Orlovsky.
Correct.
So Orlovsky and Kyle Orton were 2 names I didn't recognize, and I just picked one of them out of the 2 because of Randy Orton, to be honest with you.
What? Kyle Orton led the Bears to a Super Bowl, man.
Sure.
Sportsman lost in the Super Bowl against the Colts.
That was the thing.
Oh, yeah.
Adam, these 5 players have achieved a 99-yard play, either a pass play or a run play.
Ooh.
Drew Brees, Eli Manning, Tom Brady, Brett Favre, or Derrick Henry.
I was gonna say, there's got to be some sort of running back or receiver because there ain't no one else running for 99 yards in this group.
No, Eli Manning totally did it that one time.
I could see Brady breaking off a 100-yard run like that. Let's see. Which one of them hasn't? This is one of those trick questions because it's like, of the list of people, especially the quarterbacks, Brady's the one that's not really known for just slinging the ball downfield like that. That gets over the top. But they're also one of those teams I could also see getting some sort of like a slant or a screen to like Welker or Edelman, and then they break it loose and make a 99-yard score.
Yeah, he also threw to Randy Moss.
Yeah, for that like couple seasons there.
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be more like Drew Brees because he's like the dude with the big arm that just goes over the top of everybody.
I could see him throwing it in the air 99 yards.
Yeah. Right. All right, so Drew Brees, Brady, Eli, Derrick Henry,
And Brett Favre.
and Brett Favre. I'm gonna go with Eli on this one.
Eli threw it 99 yards to Victor Cruz against the Jets in 2011.
Victor Cruz.
I like Victor Cruz. I had him that like one good year he had in fantasy.
He had a breakout game against the Eagles, and I think it was Asante Samuel. Might have been somebody else, but I think it was Asante Samuel was against him. And he was like, I didn't want to take anything away from the kid's game. And it was like, what? You're the defender. That's literally your job.
Take it all away.
What do you mean? He had 180 yards in that game. You didn't want to take anything away from the kid's game. God damn it.
Pete, do you want to steal this one?
All right. So we've established that Eli Manning did.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine Brett Favre not having a 99-yard play. I can't imagine Drew Brees not having a 99-yard play, and I can't imagine Derrick Henry not having a 99-yard play. So I'm gonna have to go with Brady, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Tom Brady threw it to Wes Welker for
Wes
99
Welker.
yards in
Son of a
2011.
Called it. Wes
Damn.
Welker.
Was it even Randy Moss?
It was Drew Brees is the only one that has.
Damn.
God.
But if you want to call BS on my question, he did achieve a 98-yard.
Yeah, it's fine.
I thought you were going to be like, he technically was 101 yards because he was in the end zone when he threw it. Like, that counts.
I agree. All right. These 5 players have all had 120 rushing touchdowns.
Okay.
Marshall Faulk, Marcus Allen, Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Adrian Peterson.
How many touchdowns?
120 rushing touchdowns.
I feel like the way you're saying rushing is a hint.
Yes, because I didn't count
Receiving touchdowns. And I'm wondering if any of them are more receiving style running backs. I don't know. I'm probably overthinking it. Adrian Peterson, was he around long enough with him having all that consternation with beating his kid in the middle of his career?
And his wife.
Was his wife beat too? I didn't know. I only heard about the kid. I heard that story and I kind of stopped paying attention because I was way too grossed out by it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that's going to be my pick is Adrian Peterson. He had too much drama going on to hit that mark.
Adrian Peterson is the bottom of the list, but he is still on it with 120 flat.
All right.
Adam, do you want to steal?
This is when knowing running back styles helps you out. So LaDainian Tomlinson and Marshall Faulk had a lot of touchdowns that were reception touchdowns.
I was leaning towards Marshall Faulk too.
Marshall Faulk is kind of almost one of the like prototype guys that kind of started the running back being used as a receiver. And then Tomlinson like perfected that. So I'm actually going to go with LaDainian Tomlinson. I don't think he got 120 rushing touchdowns, but if you combine the two, he had well over 120.
LT had 145.
Wow, holy shit.
But you were on the right track. It's actually
It's
Marshall
Marshall
Faulk.
Dude, Marshall Falk was my first instinct, too. God damn it. I talked myself into Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, because Peterson had those issues, like the child issues and everything, but that was like the middle of his career, and he played for like 7-8 more seasons after that.
Yeah. Wasn't he out for like 3 years, though?
No, he didn't miss any
I don't
time.
think so.
Oh.
Because it happened over the off season.
Oh, okay.
He never went to jail for it.
Like I said, I kind of tuned out because it was just too much for me. So
Yeah, no, it happened over the off season, like at the beginning of the season. So he missed like almost no time at all from it, if any.
All right, Adam. These 5 players were Eagles starting quarterbacks: Mark Sanchez, Gardner Minshew, A.J. Feely, Sam Darnold, and Kevin Kolb.
All right, so we know Kevin Kolb was. I know Mark Sanchez was. I know A.J. Feely was. I know for a fact A.J. Feely was. So that leaves us with Uncle Rico and some other dude.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold. Ooh. I'm pretty sure that Uncle Rico suited up for Philly like last year or 2 years ago for like a game or two. I'm going to go with Sam Darnold.
Correct.
Yes.
it was a little
It's the first one I've gotten
softball.
right on the first try. I was right. It was like he only played for like what? He only started like what? 1 or 2 games, I think, something like that.
Which one?
Uncle Rico.
2 in 21 and 2 in 22.
Oh wow, he was there for 2 years.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
A.J. Feely for 2 in 07.
Ugh.
Kevin Kolb for 2 in 09 and 5 in 2010.
And then
Yeah.
got a starter gig off those.
Yeah.
And Sanchez for 8 in 14 and 2 in 15. And for Pete's last question, these 5 players have scored more than 900 points in their career.
900 points. All right.
Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, Marvin Harrison, and Randy Moss.
Oh, Jesus. Is this total points or is it only regular season points? You don't know. We'll go with total points.
Yeah, let's go total points.
Okay.
That's a good one.
900 points is a lot.
There's a lot. Usually it's only kickers get that.
Yeah, I was expecting you to just give me a name of kickers, to be honest with you.
At first I was going to, but then I was like, who knows kickers? No. Get it out of here.
I know a couple of kickers.
Yeah. I know Tom's
David
favorite kicker of all
Akers.
time.
Justin
Mike
Tucker.
Vanderjagt.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, muck.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and say that Randy Moss probably hit it because he had that one. I know he wasn't the one with 50 touchdowns, but didn't he get like 27 touchdowns the year Brady hit 50 touchdowns, something ridiculous like that?
I think he came close to or set the single season touchdown record that season.
Yeah. So I'm going to say Randy Moss has probably hit it since he's putting up production like that with Brady. I can't imagine Jerry Rice playing for as long as he did not hit, especially at the level that he played, not hitting 900. Who are the other people?
Emmitt Smith, LaDainian Tomlinson, and Marvin Harrison.
All right, so I think we just established that LaDainian Tomlinson had a shit ton of touchdowns in the previous question. So I'm going to rule him out. And I think I'm going to have to go with Marvin Harrison.
Correct.
All right.
That's exactly where I was going to.
How many did he get?
Marvin Harrison missed the list with 778.
778. Okay.
So yeah, I was curious because when he scored the touchdown, it counts for 6 points. So I'm like, how many touchdowns would they've had to have scored over their career?
Yeah.
They've had to have scored at least 150 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And Tom's like, well, LaDainian Tomlinson had 144 rushing touchdowns. I'm like, what? I know he got that.
But if you multiply by 6, it's still less than 900.
Yeah, that's not including his receiving touchdowns. He had at least like 40 receiving touchdowns.
Yeah, I was hoping you wouldn't put that part together, okay? All right, Adam, last question of the game. And this one is courtesy of the Ringers, Austin Gale. Since the 2000 season, there have been 225 quarterbacks with more than 250 dropbacks. Of these quarterbacks, these 4 are the only ones with a worse completion rating than Anthony Richardson of the Colts. Mike McMahon, Achilles Smith,
Wow.
Tim Tebow, and Ryan Leaf.
Oh, sorry. Is this dude's name really Achilles Smith?
Oh, yeah,
Keely,
it is.
yeah. I think it's
No S.
Akili.
ILI, yeah. Achilles. Just one Achilles.
Okay.
Every time I hear Achilles Smith, I think of that one movie where his name was ACL Terry.
So what's the question here?
Of these 4, who does not have a worse completion rating than Anthony Richardson of the Colts?
Those 4. So we have Tebow, Achilles Smith, Ryan Leaf, and Mike McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus, I didn't even know McMahon played into the 2000s. God. Achilles Smith wasn't great. Tebow...
I would say Pete probably has dark
really leaning
memories
towards
of Mike
Tebow.
McMahon playing.
Honestly, just because he didn't play long enough, at least the rest of the guys had some, like, actual time under their belt. Because we know Ryan Leaf was hot garbage. Second worst bust of all time. Tebow. I think it's Tebow.
It is not Tebow.
Huh, okay.
Tebow is worse.
If you remember, Tebow's coaches never trusted him to throw the ball. He only had like 12 attempts in games half the time. And like they were always running the football, and that's why he sucked. And like everyone thought he was going to be so great and like revolutionize it. I'm like, the guy can't throw, and his coaches don't even trust him to throw to the point where they're not calling passes. Like,
Oh man.
I hated Tebow.
Well, I did too. And yet the head coach that drafted him in the first round also got a second head coaching job that didn't last more than 2 years.
Yeah.
Pete, do you want to steal this one?
All right. So my remaining people are
Mike McMahon, Achilles Smith, and Ryan Leaf.
And the question is which one is actually better or at least on par with Anthony Richardson?
Worse.
Correct.
And so I remember a lot of people claiming that Ryan Leaf wasn't as bad as he was, as everyone said he was. And so I'm going to go out and say it was probably Ryan Leaf, just from that rough memory.
Pete, you are correct.
Hey, look at that.
Anthony Richardson ranks number 222 of the 225 worst quarterbacks. Ryan Leaf is 221, so he's better. Tim Tebow at 223.
Wow.
Achilles Smith at 225, so he's dead last. And Mike McMahon of the Eagles at 224.
Yeah.
I don't even really remember. Like I said, I didn't even know McMahon was still playing in the 2000s. He had to have been a spot backup starter because McNabb was there by that point.
McNabb was drafted in 99, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Maybe
with,
he started while McNabb was kind of getting his feet wet as a rookie.
No, that was Peterson. Peterson was the starter.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah.
Who knows? But yeah,
And
it's
with-
just one of those things, man. Like, it's crazy. And this is also why I say a lot of rookie quarterbacks shouldn't start, man. Like, there's few that really succeed from getting thrown into the fire right away. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I mean, even, like, just because they're drafted in the first round, so even first pick, doesn't necessarily mean they should start.
Yeah, I mean, even if you do something like have a veteran quarterback start the first half of the season and then let the rookies start the second half,
Look what
even
the
that
Chiefs
might
did.
be better.
Alex Smith started the first half of that season, then Patrick Mahomes came into the second half.
I mean, that's what Andy Reid did with McNabb. Peterson started the first half of the season and McNabb started the second half, so
Yeah, like, I mean, there's no
maybe
reason
we
why
should
they
listen to
can't
the
sit,
quarterback whisperer.
right? Like, there's no reason why guys should have to start, like, especially ones that aren't ready. Like, Richardson was a really, really raw talent prospect coming out of college.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. And, I mean, what's it really going to hurt? Dude's not getting wear and tear in his body.
Wow.
Like, he's not getting beat up and learning your system and learning how quickly the NFL moves in practice and everything.
Listen,
Like,
he's an Indianapolis Colt. The wear and tear of the body is absolutely expected. He's not allowed to have a very long career. We all know he has got to get at least 3 surgeries by his 7th season. So, like, let's pump the brakes here. We do have to get him in there and get him banged up. He's a Colt.
fair enough. I mean, if you're going to do that, at least make him play the good team so he can get hurt sooner and get
all right, so with that question in the books, the score is tied with Pete at 4 and Adam at 4.
See, that's where the soundboard for a bunch of losers would have really worked out. Or the soundbite of, like, from, Back to the Future. It's like kissing my brother.
Hey, Scott!
Fair enough. Fair enough. And on that'll be it for this episode, guys. We hope you enjoyed it, and we thank you for joining us. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook at Geeks and Greeks, and also on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcast platforms, all with the same moniker. Thanks for watching, everyone. May the coin toss of life ever be in your favor. See you guys.
Go Birds.
Peace.